Hello, happy team call night, everybody. I am so glad that we are here together. A lot of you know this was my first day back at work, and I was like very exhausted, if I'm being honest. And just getting on a call with you guys like gave me energy, which is probably bad because I need to sleep after this call. But it's good to see everyone. I wanted to kind of update you on team calls, and I talked to Kelly a little bit behind the scenes, not a lot, but essentially um, she's feeling like she's not necessarily wanting to lead the team calls right now, wanting to that responsibility or pressure. I don't know what word she'd choose there. But I am wanting to. Like I'm missing it. I'm feeling like I had a talk the other day with Lori and Michelle, and it just that was really helpful. And I talked to Sarah and Katie actually this within the last week. I've talked to everyone on this call. And I'm just like, I miss him too. And I think as Kelly and I have been trying to figure out our lives. By the way, Josh has this giant computer screen that turns on and off like for no reason next to me. So I don't know if it gets bright, that's what's going on. Anyways, and I just was like, I just want to start hosting this. And people keep kind of like asking, I think both of us, like, what's going on. And so I just wanted to start committing to team calls again. And that's why I asked in the group, though, what you were like. I was willing or interested even in doing weekly, but it seems the energy is around twice a month. So let's go where the energy of the team is. And so let's go with the first and third Monday of the month, and let's have team calls just consistently, and we can revisit it in the beginning of the new year and see what's making sense. But in my head, I'm at least thinking let's finish off 2023 with some consistency, and let's kind of get that back, because Lord knows this year has lost all consistency. So I thought I'd disclose, or whatever, disclose. That was my inside thoughts. I am thinking about getting to a place where I host a call for challengers right before the team call. That's actually something I'd like to start doing, but I'm not ready to take that on yet. But I'll let you guys know if I start doing that. And like anyone's challenger would be welcome to come to that call when I start doing it. They wouldn't have to be in like my specific group. Okay. So that is that with team calls. And then I was kind of thinking to myself about team calls. Well, let me back up. Lori, you are not in my team breathing belief chat thread, but Michelle, I can put you in. You're more than welcome to be in. But Michelle, I have one for just like my coaches. So like sometimes if I have something I need to say
No
specifically.
worries.
But Michelle put in there the other day that Michelle, you say what you threw in there. Do you remember? About like the journal. What were you wanting out of that?
I just remembered how I loved the layout of it and how it was written out. And I wanted to get back to doing it on a more consistent basis, because before, when I was doing it, I told her I think I started doing that journal when she released it to all of us, but I never in all those months completed it from start to finish. Like, I am a habitual non-finisher unless it comes to my workout programs. That's like the only thing I can finish, it seems like. But everything else, my PD, everything, I'll start it with good intentions and then it just falls off the face of the earth. I don't know. So I need the consistency and accountability, because if I'm left to my own devices, I just don't follow through and it's really getting on my nerves. So I wanted to have accountability, and I love this journal, and Laura really helped to walk me through it and really get the most out of it.
So we had a really good call, Michelle and I, with the journal. And she so I'm gonna pull up the journal. I have it in paper here, and I'm gonna pull up the one, um, the digital one though. And so I'm just going into the SC thread. If you don't know where I am, if you have no idea what the journal is, it's in a post I made literally yesterday, if anyone needs to follow along. Um, uh, Michelle and I
It's
started,
not this?
it
Is
is
it
that.
something?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
you got it.
Okay.
Michelle and I started, I made one for myself that combined health goals and coaching goals. So this one looks slightly different than that one. So I'll look at the one online to make sure I'm speaking the same language to you guys. Um, so Michelle said that she wanted to use this journal, and she's like, I love this journal, and I don't know why I don't use the journal, right? Like basically is what she was saying. And so we started going page by page, and we started just being like, well, what is it? Like what is the issue? And so I thought, I mean, I don't know if Michelle would say the same thing, but I thought we had a really cool moment where we got to the monthly business goals page, which is like, I don't know, page 6 or something. I mean, it's early on in the journal. And Michelle was like, did you find it, Lori? Yes. And Michelle was like, I don't know, that page just, I don't know what word you'd say, intimidates you, Michelle, or stresses you out or whatever.
Yeah, I'm a rule follower, and if I feel like I can't do it the way it's intended, then I'm gonna screw it up. And then that just completely stops me in my tracks because I'm afraid I'm not gonna do it right. And I just get tripped up if I don't know how to properly answer it, then I just don't answer.
I'm gonna just throw in here. I don't know if any of you guys listen to any of that mindset stuff that's on Body. This month's, I just listened to it. Amy shared it in our Ditch the Perfection. It's like freaking spot on to what you're just talking about. So
Yes,
I'll send you what I'm talking about. I'll put it in here. So
that's
that's, but
awesome.
thank you for sharing because that's really real.
Yeah, it's candid and honest. And so she and I spent, I don't know, Michelle, what we spent 20 minutes on this page, right? And you went and looked up your last month's income, you looked up I know it says preferred customers and coach partner, and now it's just partner. And I know a lot of us are just trying to sign partners and stuff, whatever. Like there's nuances, is what I'm trying to say. But she went and did that, and then she made a goal of what she wants rank wise. And that was like a great conversation we also had, because I feel like so often a lot of people, so you've got coach and then you have emerald, which is like just it's 2 preferred customers under you. And then the next goal that people talk about is always diamond. And while we know there's stories of people who made it to diamond in 7 days, and we know this is possible, I do think it feels like a big jump to a lot of people. And so I think when for a lot of people, I believe when they write down, like, I want to be diamond, it doesn't always resonate in their heart as possible. Like they know it's the next goal they're supposed to set, but I think it doesn't always feel like an attainable goal. And I personally believe that attainable goals, you can argue me either way. Like sometimes goals that are beyond attainable are good to set. But I find if you think of it as like baby steps, the compound effect or the slight edge, if you keep moving in the direction you're trying to move in, like it's going to get you there. And so Michelle and I had a long conversation about like, okay, maybe instead of saying diamond, we clarify how many coaches you want on each leg or how many partners, and maybe that goal. And Michelle, I actually can't remember our specific conversation at this point, and I think it's not needed, but maybe it's like, I want to have at least, 3 active partners on both legs. And that if that would get you closer to getting to that diamond at some point, like that's a really valuable goal. And I feel like we don't talk about that much, or at least Kelly and I don't feel like have talked about that very much. And that concept, yes, you can shoot for like diamond and shoot for these goals, but you can also shoot for moving the ball forward. And that's also going to be awesome too. And so then we spent some time on a monthly income goal. And then we went over to the new partner goal or people. And that sparked a really cool conversation between us about like, okay, so like if you want to sign this many partners and this is the income you're saying, like, do those align? And really start, I feel like sometimes we say the income goal without putting a little thought into it, right? Or the partner goal or what, and so I just, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, ditch the perfection, right? But it gives you a chance to think that through. And so after you get kind of like where you've been and what you'd like to do, the next thing is to come to those 3 things that you'd like to achieve this month. And I really think that it's so open-ended because it can be so open-ended, right? And so I want to give everyone on this call right now, I know you didn't do the top of it, but and you can take a piece of paper or you can take that. I just want you to dream for just a couple minutes. What would be some things that you want to do this month with your business that would feel really good? That's all. Like you don't, it's just what are 3 things that would feel really good this month with your business? And I'm going to do it too, because I haven't done this for October yet. So I'm going to try to think about what would feel really good to me. Okay. All right, guys. Do you need more time? Just shake your head yes if you need more time, so I know.
I have a question. When you a current rank, do we do our lifetime rank or just what we currently are?
I would do your current rank. Like lifetime
Okay.
rank's helpful, but I think when you're goal
Okay.
setting, just take where
Okay.
you are.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to share real quick what I wrote down. I would love to hear what you wrote down. I'm not looking, there's like no right answer. This is not a quiz, like you can't fail this. And if you didn't get to 3 of them, it's okay. But here's the things I wrote real quick. I wrote, I want to stay engaged in my challenge group and have fun. I wrote that I want to time block my time 3 days a week. I really struggle with time blocking. And so I normally make expectations of doing it like doing it completely. And I think I need to back off of those types of expectations of myself. And I'd like to hit Success Club. I've really gotten away from it, if I'm being honest. And I think it would feel good to start building that muscle again. After I've kind of like disengaged with it. Plus, I'm going on the Success Club trip, and that would actually help me pay for my trip. So there's that too. So those are the three I wrote down. Curious to hear what you guys wrote.
I wrote help 3 people, create engagement and energy in my my group, and then hit Emerald again. Because when I hit Emerald again, then I'll get my diamond back. So
Love it. Love it. All right, who wants to go next? Go for it, Katie. Or are you waving bye, Katie? Yeah. Katie never volunteers. That was so good.
No, I was just waving.
Well, now you volunteered.
I know, but now that I'm unmuted, I'll just go. Hold on. Hey, Jules. Is that your leotard? Love it. Sorry. She just got home from gymnastics.
Oh.
Okay. So mine are this is going to sound so ridiculous, but just to show up more on social media through my stories, post, well, that kind of ties into like posting more authentically, and just really making like fun content. I'm learning to like not take myself so seriously. Like life doesn't have to be so serious, and just to have like more fun with it. And I think that's where the authenticity comes out. And then I really would like, now that like all 5 kids are in school, I have 3 mornings to myself. So I would really love to like learn how to utilize that time into like working. That's what I got.
I love it. Love it. Those are awesome.
that's wonderful. Good for you. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Michelle or Sarah, do either one of you want to share? Sarah, are you working? Are you doing our call? You look so focused. Oh, I froze.
I'm I'm working on something that's business related. This it's related to this.
Okay. I just wasn't. Listen. You had a rough week with all the government shutdown stuff. No judgments. Okay. Did you want to share then?
Yeah, sure. So
Okay.
I've been for a long time I've been thinking about doing some kind of small newsletter type thing. Not even like, I mean, nothing, grand, but just with like things that are happening in in the Beachbody world, and maybe like a recipe I like, just something to add a little bit more value. And then I want to share more recipes in my stories, and then be more engaged in the challenge group.
Gosh, I love it. By the way, the newsletter stuff, I know at least Mompreneur has ones you can buy that like
Oh, okay.
you could like you wouldn't have to curate it. I'm sure there's other places too, but that might help you to actually build it without the stress. So
Okay. Good to know.
yeah. All right, way to go, Sarah. Look, Lori's got Lori. All right, Michelle Bogart.
I need Lori in my life.
I miss this, you guys.
Oh, it's coming back, okay?
Thank you. And thank you for including me.
Of course.
I like lost my coach.
We're a team. Your coach might decide to come back. I don't know. She needs a little self-care this year.
Yeah, that's okay.
She went balls to
She had
the
a big
wall,
move.
so I can definitely see that she would need a break for a little while.
Mhm.
Right. I'm like, we all have our seasons. So
Yep.
hey, Bogart, what you got?
All right. My goals for October is, I've already mentioned it, consistency. I'm reading Slight Edge again for my PD, and dang it, I'm gonna finish the book this time. And so I really want to just keep going with the consistency and building that confidence with myself that I can actually finish things. Um, I want to find some more people to do the MBF super block with me. So far, I don't have anyone, but I am getting in talks with especially my current challengers that I've thought have been silent, and they are actually doing something. So that's why they're not joining me, because they're doing their own programs, which I will take that. They're doing something. And then I want to start talking about partnering and the business aspect more, because I want to grow my team and I can't do that if I'm not talking about it. So those are my goals for October.
I love it. Wow. I love it. This is phenomenal. Lori, you got to celebrate Michelle. Come on, unmute. No.
Yay!
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. Okay. So on the page that we're on in the book, underneath that, there is the version of me who has achieved these goals, thinks and feels. And so that is really an opportunity, and it's just blank around it for you to free write, get ideas out. How does that woman who achieves these goals, what does she show up in the morning thinking? What does she believe is true about herself and the world and her value? What does she know? Because that's the part of you that you need to bring to get to these goals. And guys, here's the deal. She's already there. Like, we're so busy telling ourselves what we can't do, or maybe in our past, like you even hear it when I talk a lot, like I go to that well of your past. It's not needed. I'm trying to get better at that. Like, it's not needed. Like, your best self is already there. She's literally there. The bigger challenge is just us figuring out how to tap that part of ourselves that maybe we feel a little more distance from. And so think about that woman who achieves those goals. What does she think, in the morning? What does she think when it gets hard? What does she think when she's tired? How does she show up? What does she believe about people who are detached from their health? What does she currently believe about her challengers? And I'm not talking about what you actually maybe say to yourself. I mean, what does the best version, the person who achieves goals, think? Because that's the one you're connecting with. Does that make sense on that page? Okay. So we kind of did that a little bit. And then I'm going to move forward in the journal a little bit. There's a business analysis for each week in the journal. I would do that at the end of a week. So maybe on Sundays or something, you know what I mean? Like, if you like the end of the week to be Wednesday because of Beachbody, fine. But that's so hard for me. Like like Sunday is like the end of the week to me. But it gives you this opportunity. If you look at all the weekly analysis, it gives you, did I say that right? Analysis? I don't know. That felt wrong. It gives you the opportunity. I'm trying to find my weekly analysis in this one. There it is. To really like rate yourself on the different aspects of the business. If you look at it, there's focusing on your journey. That's the area that almost all of us are stronger at. That doesn't tend to be what this team needs to focus on. This team is like die hard on their health journeys. So I feel like that part of the business, a lot of us have in a good spot. The only thing I added there was looking at your vision board daily. Okay, there's our 10 minutes, girls. We got this. And that part is focusing on you. But then you look, I broke out the income producing activities from the growing your business activities. And then from the serving your people activities. And, you know, we can be really strong in one area and really weak in another, and that's okay. It's literally just giving you, you know, like I think of it as like a flashlight in the dark of just where you need to start putting more energy into, right? So no big deal if you're at a 1 right now. Like who cares? You just realize that's an area you're going to want to start putting a little more energy into. So what could that little more be? You know? And I just feel like we so often, or at least me, make it too big. And then it feels overwhelming and then we detach. So like, you know, if you're not inviting anyone right now, like maybe your goal this week is to invite one person. Like, and guess what? It's a low goal compared to what we've been talking about before, but it's more than you've been doing. Like, so stop comparing yourself to like what you should be doing and start making connecting with ways you can do the little steps to become better. Notice on that page it says my 3 monthly goals again. That's literally the same 3 you wrote on the other on the monthly page. The reason why is because we are so quick to forget our goals. We're all like humans are like squirrel, 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 like bright shiny thing. National Wake Up Call said do this. I want to try this. And then you forget what you actually wanted. And the goals that everyone just said here are very awesome goals, worthy of dedicating your month to. And you could have a page or a note section where you write down all these great future ideas so that when you go to do this for November, you actually have a well, right? You can start your well of things I want to keep working on while not changing your course when you're in the middle of it. And it's really, really tempting to keep changing the course. But guess what? The people who are just consistent and kind of stick to what they said they were going to do, just like our health journeys, those are the ones who are getting to these business goals that we all want. We all want them on this call. And so after you look at what you've done this week, and then you look at your monthly goals again, and that diamond map, if anyone needs help on how to fill that out, let me know. I can work one-on-one with you on that. Think about what that means you need to focus on this week. Like maybe there's a goal you didn't touch at all. Maybe there's a goal you're actually crushing that you're like, okay, that's good. Like keep doing that, but I need to focus here, right? And then there's a sentence. I know I can achieve this because. Give yourself that proof of why this week is attainable. Ground yourself over and over. The idea is to ground yourself. So then if I keep going in the journal a little further, I want you to look at the sheets that say rainbow of reflection. So these are in there for you to start working on your limiting beliefs. The idea is that when you have some negative thought that is, haunting you, like my coach quit coaching. One of her biggest things that she quit coaching for was because she felt like she was boring. Like that was her. She just felt like she did the same thing every day. No one wants to watch my life. Like, and that's what pulled her away. And she, ultimately, and then she just saw negative on social media. Like she had to pull away. But like, what if she had this tool? Like, this is what I realized I'm thinking. And she has it. But then the next one is I recognize why this makes sense. And you're allowed to say why it actually makes sense. I do the same thing every day. Like, I feel my life is boring. I'm sick of taking care of my kid every day. And I'd really like to go on a vacation. There's a reason you have this feeling, and it doesn't make it wrong. Whatever that negative feeling is, I think for years I tried to push away the negatives and just like stay positive. Lori. But then I now realize that that's unnecessary. It's okay to have a negative feeling and it's okay for it to be right, but then you don't want to live there. That's the thing. We don't want to live there. So after you understand why it's coming from, why it makes sense, why like, oh, I see why I feel this, then you can start working on what is the reality. So like for my friend, the reality is I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't go places that often, right? But also the reality is no one actually messaged me that I'm boring. No one has said that. Like I said that to myself, but no one is out there telling me your stuff is boring every day. You know, and so like you have to start looking at the real facts. And it's not boring because there's actually people like I needed these changes and this is how I got my health. And I know there's other people who need these changes who also have boring lives like I do.
Mhm.
Lori, what did you want to say?
Will you take a picture before we get kicked off?
Yeah, do it right now. Get your camera
Okay.
up and just we'll be ready.
I just don't know if I have good lighting, but I'll try. We'll see. Hope I do have good lighting. Okay, get the camera out of the way. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, continue. Sorry.
No problem. And then it says the version of me who has achieved her goals would remind me. So this is where you get to be your own friend. What would you say to yourself if your friend, if Lori came and said whatever BS line you're telling yourself, what would you say to Lori in that moment to remind her? And then the next one is how could I reword this? You know, and that can come in a lot of ways. But how could so my friend was like, she thought her life was boring, right? And instead, maybe a rewording would be, although I do the same thing, you know, most days, consistency is the missing part for most people. So I'm modeling what it actually takes to be healthy. I mean, boy, isn't that a more powerful statement than I'm boring and do the same thing every day. And it's literally the same concept. It's just reworded. And then the last one is if I chose to learn from this, as opposed to letting me feel shameful or guilty that I'm boring or whatever, what could be the reward? And in this case, the reward could be you actually save a mom who's at home sad and depressed and feels her life is the same thing every day, but instead she's, you know, going into food for comfort, not realizing that could actually inspire her, you know, and stuff. So this page becomes more powerful the more times you use it. When you first start using it, you're just going to feel weird and awkward, but the more you let yourself really kind of sit with that, the better it is. Finally, the last thing I'm going to say is that they're the daily pages that you can use or that are designed to help you plan your day every day. And they're there to time block it. And I told Michelle, and I'll tell you guys too, I wrote the dates at the top in a way, like I am a person who struggles to stick on a calendar. And so I wrote the dates at the top where you can just circle the day and the month. And if you miss a day, who gives a flying rats? It doesn't matter. Like you just circle and write the day you're on. So unfortunately, because we have a minute left, we're not going to get a lot of debriefing time right now. But here's what I'm thinking with team calls. I actually want to start using this journal in a consistent way that we're actually talking about goal setting and making plans for our weeks and keeping it really simple. So that's the reason why I took this entire call to kind of go back over this and to think about it. I can't be planning team calls. I'm overwhelmed. The reason why I pulled away is because I'm overwhelmed. But you know what? We have a tool here that's actually really powerful and really customized to each of us, and we can share what we're doing and we can really inspire each other and take simple action, which is what I think we need anyways. So that's it. I know we're going to get cut off, but I love you guys. Thanks for showing up. Bye.
This was awesome. This was
Yeah, thank you,
awesome.
Laura.
So if
Good.
we want to do another,
Thanks, Laura.
we can just throw it out there and we can
Yep.
just
Anytime. Power
Okay.
hours, whatever you want.
okay.
Throw them out there.
This is
love-
awesome. Thank you. Love you.
You guys are amazing. Let's go rock. Let's go rock our goals.
Okay.
Let's do what we were
Let's
born
do
to
it.
do. I love it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.